Hey y'all, it's the girl Brittany. This whole alternate reality thing, where you watch this, go watch the first video. That's part one, and I will have all the other videos. I think there's three before this one. I will have all those linked below. If you guys can tell that I'm tired. It's currently 5 a.m. I've been up all night. Well, it's been like an hour and a half that I've been reading these. I'm trying to get them all like filmed and edited and scheduled to upload tonight because between school and work I've been so busy lately. But I'm not going to get into that right now, otherwise this intro is going to be very long. Right now we're about to read part 5. Let's get on with the video. I have to point out a fucking cat. Look at him sleeping. Sky? My friend has been living in an alternate reality, part 5. Entry 10. Some interesting developments have just occurred. Whether they're good or not is to be decided. I guess my adrenaline has spiked the fuck up because I decided to jump out of that dumpster, gun raised. As soon as I did, both cops rushed me. They saw that I was armed for sure. But I guess they didn't care. I shot the guy without the tattoo before I was taken down by the other one. I took a couple of baton blows to the ribs before he was restrained by Christian. He groaned, shouting at me in short, guttural bursts. "Kill me, you fuck, I don't care." I told him to calm the hell down. Then I laid it all out on him. All out to him. I told him where we came from, that we were from Earth. His expression seemed to change drastically after that. He was listening intently. "What happened to you, huh? How'd you get here?" Christian eventually asked. As it turns out, he was a German-American named Kunz Steiner. It's probably Kunz. He used to be a part of the 82nd Airborne Division of the U.S. Army. One day, on a mission to Iraq, some strange shit happened. The same shit that happened to us. It was a cloudy day, he explained. One second we were up in the air, you know the rest. Only 5 of us actually made it into the island. I was the only one who made it to this fucking place. Apparently he killed one of the guards who were outside the walls at the time. I was running on fumes, he said. I didn't even know what the hell I was doing. I guess my primal instincts just kicked in. He had also realized that bullets didn't do a whole lot against the jungle creatures, so he still had plenty of ammunition at that point. When the backup came, they wanted to just get rid of him at first. But then they realized that he could be a valuable asset. They just lost 10 fucking guards, he recalled. I guess they thought talking to me, taking me in, and turning me into one of them wasn't so bad of an idea. So that's what they did. Been here ever since. I can't tell you how many times I've thought about offing myself, he continued. Nobody should live in a place like this. His voice started quivering. But I always knew something would happen. Now you guys are here. I was a bit taken aback by this. I mean, what the hell was he expecting us to do? I asked him about it. Well, surely one of you knows how to pilot, right? Unfortunately, I don't. I thought about it. Travis was still back at the settlement. I asked him how the hell he was gonna help, regardless. He looked around for a bit. That's when we all heard the distant sound of boots stomping on concrete headed our way. Look, come back to my place first. I'll tell you about it there. So that's where we went, and that's where I am right now. You'd think that somebody as important as law enforcement would get better living conditions. This place is beyond a shithole. It's on the 5th floor of some dilapidated building that feels like it's going down any second. Apparently Kunz only gets an hour of running water a day, and there's no air conditioning. 90% of his meals consisted of this stiff brown energy bars. He gave us some. I almost puked when I saw something blinking back at me after I'd taken a bite, but this was his plan. He'd sneak us out of this place and we'd go back to the settlement. Kunz knew how to get there. In order to pick up Travis, who would steer. Apparently, controls were similar enough to that of Earth's. After that, we'd go back to Paradise X, break into one of the hangars where they stored their aircrafts, and fly out of there in search of the fog again. In search of a way back. Obviously, there was about a billion things that could go wrong with this. First of all, there were apparently only 4 small planes in that entire hangar, and it was heavily guarded. But he had a solution to that. He knew about 15 other guards who also wanted out of this place. That should be enough to break into the hangar, Coons stated. Over the years, he had told them about what Earth was like, and it fascinated them. Why didn't they just disregard him as crazy was simple? They were desperate for something else, anywhere else. Everybody thought about doing it before, but nobody knew how to fly. This would be the golden opportunity for them. I thought about the guards that we had encountered earlier. None of them did seem to care whether they died or not. But there was also Travis. There was no way in hell he would come with us. He actually seemed to like it here. As crazy as it is, I can't see him willingly go back. And then there's the biggest problem. What if there's no fog to be found? Were we just going to drift around the sky until our fuel ran out? I ran this by Coons. He sighed. Honestly, anywhere is better than here. If we have to land somewhere else, then so be it. I'm not staying in whatever the fuck this place is anymore. His tone was dead serious, expression unwavering. He was 100% committed to this. I told him we'd do it. Christian and Lauren didn't have any objections. I guess I'd also had my fill of this island. However, I really don't think we're going to find the fog again. Deep down, I know Coons doesn't either. This is just a coping mechanism for him. This is all he's got. It's currently morning, but we're going to leave after night. Easier to sneak out that way. I have to say, I'm still excited. I know I shouldn't be, but I am. We aren't going back to Earth. There's no way. Entry 11. It's finally dark out. We're going for it. Coon says there's a hidden tunnel that we can take that'll lead us out. There's also a vehicle waiting for us, which one of the guards has set up. Entry 12. We're driving back to the settlement now. Fortunately for us, this vehicle blinds the passenger windows. I decided that this would be a good time to ask Coons some more questions about Paradise X. As it turns out, this place is sort of a combination between dictatorship and anarchy. There is technically somebody who runs and has power over everything. They call him the Pioneer. It's ironic because he had absolutely no contribution in discovering this place. Now, this guy, he can make any laws he wants, but he doesn't. He just leaves the cesspool of a city to fester in its own waste. That's right. There were no actual rules against murder or anything for that matter. The only real laws were that you couldn't attack law enforcement, which was broken on an hourly basis, and that you couldn't step foot on the Pioneer's property, where he and the ones close to him lived in relative luxury. This was a big deal. Punishment was supposedly worse than death. The only reason he sent out police at all were to monitor for any creatures that leaked past the wall. This wasn't uncommon apparently. If they saw any, the regular police would notify what was known as the command operatives to come and get rid of them, which was mainly comprised of enhanced guards. After that, I asked about the copies. I could see him become visibly paler at the mention of them. He didn't know too much about them either. He'd never even seen one. In fact, nobody around him had any consensus on what they really were. Just don't touch them, he said. Simple as that. I asked him what would happen if he did. Maybe he'd have a better answer than Gorilla. Well, You know how they take your form just by looking at you? He responded. The thing is, when it's just staring at you, it's merely a hollow shell of yourself. But once you've made contact with it, you're essentially giving it permission to become you. And, two of the same person can exist at once. So after that, you're gone. I still didn't understand what the hell that was supposed to mean. I pressed him for more answers, but he left it at that. Nobody seemed to want to talk about these things. The rest of the drive was uneventful, but we reached the settlement. It's really hard to say what happened, but a massacre obviously occurred. There were abnormally large claw marks scraped into the sides of the cabins, and bodies were haphazardly scattered everywhere. I tried not to look because there were kids. We searched for the place for a while, but found no survivors. Eventually, Christian went back to praying, and Lauren just started bawling. I was horrifically transfixed by the whole scene. I don't know what to think anymore. Eventually, we found Travis's upper body. Safe to say, the plan wasn't going to work. Coons cursed loudly and started pacing. I heard him mumbling. This can't happen. I have to do this. Fuck. I can't stay here. At that point, I echoed his sentiments pretty closely. We really needed to get the hell off this island. But I never found any trace of Russ. His body wasn't among the dead. I did find his journal, or what was left of it anyways. Most of the pages were torn apart, and the rest was simply indecipherable. I tried analyzing it, but it just read like ramblings from a madman. However, I did find something interesting during the last few entries. He scribbled, "This is a terrifying discovery," before the page was ripped off. Shit. Wonder what the hell that's about. Let's go. Coon's voice echoed across the destroyed civilization. I asked him what the plan was now. I'll pilot myself if I have to. I don't give a fuck. We're getting out of here. Entry 14. We're driving back to Paradise X now. Christian and Lauren just looked disaffected now. Empty. Coon said that the plan was still on. It can't be that hard, right? He said in regards to flying. Yeah, probably not, I responded. He was obviously delusional at this point, but he seemed unstable, and I didn't want to piss him off anymore. I really don't know where this is going. Entry 15. It's happening. Coons has gone out and notified everybody who wants in. The numbers actually increased to 22 now, including some civilizations. I asked him now what the hell we were supposed to fit. We won't, he responded. Not all of us are going to make it. They're all well aware of that. Well, that's not nice to think about. I also asked him what he told them about not having a pilot. He said he didn't say anything. They probably wouldn't have wanted to help if they knew this. Just say that you're the pilot, he told me. Don't worry, you don't have to actually do it if you don't want to. I'll figure it out. He said this with such an unwavering confidence. It was definitely just a cave. I could tell that he had no hope this was going to work. But fuck it. There's always a chance. Besides, Dust Blue really isn't worth staying on. Make sure you use those goals well, he said. Every shot needs to count down. Entry 16. Fuck me. So, this is what happened. We met up with the other 22 in some shitty warehouse. Coons introduced me as the pilot, or the savior, as he put it. It was really weird, honestly. They all cheered. Coons gave me a mini motivational speech about leaving this place and finding a home worth living. This got them all riled up. However, things were looking bleak from the get-go. Amongst us, we had about 7 total bullets. Apparently some cops like to smuggle weapons, but not many. We started marching through the streets towards the hangar. A bunch of civilians and other cops stared at us in melancholy curiosity as we did so. The hangar soon appeared in front of us. The problem was, there was a lot more guards than we'd expected. I saw everybody's collective faces drop. Afterwards, we learned that somebody sold us out in exchange for a week's supply of meat. Yes, some fucking meat. What Coons had never told us was that the hangar was directly on the Pioneer's property. The next moment, The next moments were a relative blur. The renegade cops charged the hangar with blatant disregard for their own lives. My vision was obstructed by a red mist and bodies that as I stumbled around. There was no way in hell that I was running into a sea of bullets, so I started scrambling out of there. At some point during the madness, I was clotheslined by some behemoth of a man. I blacked out soon after. I woke up after God knows how much time. I can feel turbulence. Guess we're on a plane. My chest hurts like fuck, and my legs are shackled to a wall. My weapon is gone, but the journal's still here. Great. I looked around the small space to find 6 other cops, civilians who were there with us. Among them were Coombs and Lauren. I guess Christian didn't make it. I called over Coombs and asked him where the hell we were going. As it turns out, we were headed to some kind of prison located on an island called Ghost Hazard. He said it solemnly. Everyone around here looked so defeated. I'm so tired. So that was part 5. Question of the day. Comment down below what you think happened to Christian and why this new island that they're heading to is called Ghost Hazard. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. Remember, I love you guys with all of my heart. I'll see you tomorrow.